Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Lay the Draw. It's going to be a slightly different one tonight. I've been trying for the last probably 45 minutes to an hour to try and share my phone screen to a Windows laptop, and honestly, been nearly tearing my hair out. The laptop's been nearly out the window twice. I just can't manage it. I've been in the IT industry for like 20 odd 30 years, and honestly it's got me flummoxed. I think the problem might be is that I'm in a temporary place at the minute trying to renovate somewhere, so I don't have broadband, so I'm working from a mobile phone hotspot, which is the mobile phone that I'm trying to share the pictures from, the screen. I took some static screenshots of a game last night that I want to run through, and I can't seem to do it. Obviously the laptop and the phone need to be on the same network, which I can do no problem, which I am doing at the minute, but when you want to cast onto a Windows PC, apparently you need well, it's not that, it might not even be Windows, it looks like it might be Android, because the phone I'm using says I have to turn the when I'm trying to cast onto the Windows PC, it's saying the hotspot's using the Wi-Fi, so if I turn the hotspot off, I still couldn't get it to work. I was installing all sorts on the Windows PC. I've probably knocked this laptop now, but never mind. Anyway, I'm going to get cracked on. So in the last episode I said I'm going to use strategy 3, which is jumping in pre-game and laying the draw, and on Monday night, it's now Tuesday night. On Monday night there was very few games. I actually said in the last episode that I was going to lay the draw and sit and go, like, you know, have to sit and watch games as they go, because as soon as the goal goes in I need to cash out. I did jump on yesterday afternoon to try and do this. A game called, it was Bahrain against Kalali or something, and obviously it sounds Middle Eastern with the Bahrain SC. It was Bahrain SC were 1.48. The laying the draw was 7, so I had a liability of £9 there, and I was going to just follow the odds because I wasn't really too concerned about what game I got on, but I might have changed my view on that. I'll come into that a little bit later on. But anyway, this game kicked off at 3:20, 15:20. You can look it up on one of your sort of football apps or something like that. That popular time of 15:20, never heard of in my life before. Anyhow, kicked off, and I went on to Betfair to monitor it, because obviously I need to jump out as soon as there's a goal scored, and the marker was suspended. And I thought, I wonder what's going on there. I thought maybe the game's like being delayed or even postponed. It's at one point I thought it might have been postponed, but I went on to Flash Scores, which is an app I use for looking at football football scores and stuff, to follow football scores, and it said FRO, which is or something like that. I can't remember the 3-letter acronym, but it means result only. So what it means is you're only going to get the result at the end of the game. So I don't know if it was like no coverage or something because of where it was, but then this was part of the Bahrain Cup, and it's like, it's not a cup as such, it's like a league system, because I looked at the Bahrain Cup, but then every single other game, there must have been about 8 games in the same cup that kicked off around about the same time. And even it's a bit like a World Cup or Euro formation where you've got like 4 teams in each little league, so it is kind of cup thing, but it's like a league thing. So I shouldn't have probably sort of traded on it anyway, because obviously you don't do cup competitions, but I thought it was actually a league. And there was 4 teams in this league. There was Bahrain SC, who were playing this Kalali, and there was two other teams, but the the two other teams, the scores were being updated and the odds were changing on Betfair. So I have absolutely no idea what happened to this match. And what I do know is I actually won the £2, but through no like you know, no like sort of speciality of myself, or you know, I didn't even know last night whether I had won or not. It was only this morning when I logged back, you know, I logged back in to have a look at the bet, and they'd actually settled on it, and I'd actually won the £2 that I'd actually laid. So I have no idea what's happened there. It's not happened before, but then again, I've never been on such an obscure match before. So talking of obscure matches, probably not as obscure obviously, but as you can see on the screen now, I've got this Stoke under 23 game against Newcastle under 23, which took place last night at 7 o'clock, which was about 4 hours after, 3.5 hours after this strange game I got on, which I couldn't follow at all. So what I decided to do on this game, and I know it's not high profile, but there wasn't many high profile games, but I did jump on the normal Stoke under 23s. We'll drop the 23s, we'll just say Stoke versus Newcastle. Stoke were the favourites, playing at home, 1.75 as you can see on the screen there, and laying the draw was 4.6. So I jumped on that with £2, which is times your 4.6 is £9.20 minus the £2 stake, so your liability is £7.20. So just going over things again, if this game, because I'm laying the draw, if this game ends up in a draw, I'll lose the £7.20 because I need to pay out to some other trader who's said I'll take a draw for £2 and get £7.20, which is your 4.6 odds. And if it's either a win to Stoke or a win to Newcastle, then I get the £2 that I laid back as a winning trade. So what I want to do is I want to run through this, because obviously we're looking at trading strategy 3, and so this is how it's a bit different from previous videos. I'm not showing you a list of games and how they happened. I didn't want to jump on sort of 6 or 10 or 12 or more games at a time, which I've done in the past, because obviously I need to keep an eye on each game, and so I thought I'll start off small and I'll just go through this one game, and I'll do some conclusion at the end. But what I want to do is I've got some columns here, and what I was going to do, if I could cast the screen, I was just going to show you the screenshots. I'll keep taking screenshots from Betfair Exchange on my mobile as the game went on. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through the minutes and show you what happened in this game. So I was taking snapshots every sort of 10 minutes or so, say, or when something happened, basically. It's a shame you can't see the screenshots, but I'll just have to explain what's going on, because there's a nice little, if you go into Betfair Exchange, like on a desktop or a mobile, you can see a nice little sort of timeline of the game with it's split into two, so you got a first half, second half, and then it shows you goals, yellow cards, red cards, things like that. But you can't obviously see that. So in the 10th minute, the score was still 0-0. Oops. So I'll put that in there. And the cash out value was 678. Bearing in mind we laid £2 and the liability was 7.20. That meant we had a profit of minus 42p. It's minus 42 because that's just your 678. Well, it's your liability 720. So if I cashed out in the 10th minute when the score was 0-0, I would have got 678 back, and bearing in mind the liability is 720, I would have actually lost 42 pence. So these next two columns, I'm just going to, well, sorry, the next three columns. At that point, after the 10th minute, Stoke were 2.34 to win the game. Newcastle were 3 to win the game, and the draw was down to 3.8. Obviously that's where our loss comes in, because when we laid the draw before the start of the game was 4.6, because there's been 10 minutes gone, there hadn't been a goal and it was still a draw, then there's more chance of it ending in a draw. The closer, the more the duration goes on, the more chances ending at the same score as it is, because obviously goals in football games, they're not few and far between, but you've got 90 minutes in a football game. Obviously you don't get like a goal every minute, otherwise there'd be like 90 goals, so I wouldn't say they're few and far between, but over the duration of 90 minutes, you know, there is, you don't get that many goals. So moving on to the next time stamp, I took a time stamp at 20 minutes. Again, the score was still 0-0. The cash out value now was down to £6.60, because obviously it's 20 minutes gone now, there still hasn't been a goal, and there's only 70 minutes left of the game for a goal to happen. So the profit was 60p deficit. Stoke were now 2.46 to win the game. Newcastle were at 2.98, so they were a little bit less than what they were previously, and the draw was down to 3.55. The next timestamp was on the 30th minute. Now it's just coincidence, I was going to do 10, 20, 30, 40 every 10 minutes, but as it happens, just on the 30th minute Stoke scored, so it went to 1-0. If they'd scored between 20 and 30, I would have took a timestamp, say at the 24th, 25th, 26th minute and showed you the odds there, but they actually scored in the 30th minute, so it coincided with when I was going to take a timestamp anyway. So because Stoke had scored, their odds went right down to 1.42, obviously, from, oops, I'm in totally the wrong column. I'll come on to that. I need to do the cash out first. So the cash out went to £7.20, profit went to 0, Stoke went to 1.42. It dropped right down because obviously they were in the lead now. Newcastle went up to 7.4, and the draw went up to 4.6. So you can see there, the draw went back up to what we started at when we laid it, although that is that 4.6 here is the back bet. I think the lay bet on the draw there was 5.4. Newcastle's odds obviously went right out because they were the underdogs and they'd gone behind and they were away from home, so they went from 2.98 up to 7.4. Stoke had come right down to 1.42 because they were at home, they were the favourites, they'd went ahead. They started the game at 1.75. We were in the 30th minute, half an hour gone in the game, and they took the lead, so it went down to 1.42. At this point, strategy 3 dictates that we cash out. And the problem I had was that you can see there we've got no profit. It's bang on 0. So even though Stoke were at lower odds than what they were before the game started, there was no profit to be had. So I thought, you know what, we've got £2 on this, we've got liability of £7.20. If I cash out, I'm going to make no profit. To be honest, I was expecting a profit if the home team had went ahead after 30 minutes. I was expecting to be able to cash out at more than what we'd trade. You know, I was expecting to cash out at a profit, and this is what I need to look at. So I'm going to bold that. Just want to know why that's I'll highlight it. I want to know why that was there. 30 minutes. What I need to do is probably going forward look at more high profile games, you know, like Premier League and such, not under 23s, and see what the pattern is there. I was quite disappointed to see that after 30 minutes when the favourite went ahead, because you can imagine if it's quite a high percentage of the time the favourite will go ahead in the first half, and if there's going to be no profit there, then what do we do? That's why when you like look at the strategy, there's no point just coming out of this because Stoke have scored in the first 30 minutes. I mean, that goes back to strategy 1, if you remember, where we were jumping in at half time when it was still nils each. There's no point jumping. There's no point putting a pre-match lay on if after 30 minutes the favourite scores and it's still zero profit. It'd be interesting to know if the favourites were like, say, like bang on favourite, like, you know, really hard on favourites, like where we've had down like 1.2, 1.1 something. If they scored after half an hour, what the odds would be and whether there'd be any profit to take. But I was just a bit, well, I wouldn't say miffed, but I was a bit disappointed, I'd say. I was definitely disappointed because I was just going to cash out after the first goal and take me profit. Even if it had been like 20 pence, I'd have been happy, because on £2 laid, that's like a 20 pence is 10%. And if you've done 10% on every trade and your bankroll went up by 20% or 10% all the time, then you'd probably be more than happy. But all I could do here on strategy 3 was trade out for zero. I will be doing a full list like I have done in previous weeks when there's more football on. The only reason I'm doing this now like this is because there was no football last night, and there isn't too much football tonight, although I am going to, it's 6:20 now, I am going to jump on after this video and see if there is any football to get some bets on tonight. So I just want to run you through what happened after that quite briefly. So I started taking snapshots a little bit more often now, because I just wanted to see where the zero went. So in the 33rd minute it was still 1-0. The cash out was still £7.20, so the profit was still zero. Stoke were up to 1.49, so I don't know if Newcastle had come back into it or not. I always thought the odds on Betfair, it's like the stock market, it's supply and demand. So maybe more people were jumping on, like in, I don't know, Newcastle come back for Stoke's odds to go slightly out, or Newcastle had a few chances, so people had jumped on it. But I wouldn't have thought the under 23s, I wouldn't have thought that many people had been watching it, so I don't know if the actual, I assume it does in some respect. If it's a high profile game like the Premier League, like the events in a game, like a sending off, or like or even in this game, not a send off, like say a corner or say a free kick for one team or the other, might affect the odds slightly. But I can imagine that happening in high profile game. I'm not sure about like games like this. I don't know who would, I mean, there may be traders sitting watching these games and saying, right, okay, there's a free kick Newcastle, so yeah, that's why Stoke's odds might have went out a bit. But at the same time, Stoke had drifted out at 1.49 and Newcastle they drifted out at 7.6, but the draw was still 4.6. I am interested to see what will happen when I start doing this with more high profile games. The next snapshot I took was 35 minutes, just 5 minutes after the goal. It was still 7.2, it was still zero profit. So this is now 5 minutes after the goal and we're still on zero profit. Stoke was still at 1.49. Newcastle had drifted out at 8. and the draw was still 4.6. So even though Newcastle drifted out, that's obviously because nobody's now expecting to win because they were underdogs. They're drifting out, but at the same time, there's obviously some sort of resistance in saying that, well, Newcastle might still get a goal and draw because the draw just hasn't moved, and that's probably why the profit hasn't changed. So the next one, I took another one really, like 36 minutes. You might be getting bored of this now. 36 minutes. I want to take all this down because it's quite interesting. So we're still on 7.0, still zero profit. Now we're 6 minutes after the goal. Stoke had gone down a little bit to 1.47. Newcastle had gone up to 8.2. And the draw was now out at actually, yeah, the draw was still 4.6 for the back. Right, so get the 38th minute and it changes slightly. Stoke were still leading the game 1-0. The cash out was 7.78. So the profit was now 58p for some reason. Well, not for some reason, it's because the cash out was 7.78. Stoke had gone back to Stoke had gone down to 1.19. Alright, okay, I can see what's happened here. There was a sending off. You can see how much that's affected the odds. It was actually sending off, and let me see. So Newcastle had gone to 26, and because they were down to 10 men, and the draw was now 7.6. So if you look at those odds, that's ridiculous to say, right, the draw is now 7.6 instead of 4.6, but all working profit is 58p. But then again, 58p is a high percentage of £2. It's over a quarter. Obviously 50 pence is 25%, so that's quite a high return on your £2 that you laid. It's not such a high return on the liability. But because at this point now, and TS3 was getting further and further out the window, my trading strategy 3, where I cashed out here, where I cashed out after the first goal. I just thought, let's see how this goes, especially with Newcastle down to 10 men, Stoke winning. I thought, well, we'll just carry on, just for the experiment, just to follow the experiment side of things. So in the 40th minute, Stoke were still 1-0 up. That was 7.87. And the profit is 57 pence. That was 2 minutes after that was 58 pence. Stoke were down to Stoke were back up to 1.2. Newcastle 21, and the draw was 7.2. 43 minutes. Anything changed now? Oh yeah. Okay, so 43 minutes. Quite a significant change here because Stoke had got a second. Alright, so so Stoke had gone to 2-0 because obviously, well, they were playing 10 men, they were the favourites. So this went to 8.74 cash out. And so that would have been a profit of £1.54 on our £7.20 liability. Stoke were now at 1.04, so if you put £1 on them, you would have won £1.04 at this point. Newcastle were 95, so if you'd put £1 on them, you would have won £95 if they turned it round. The draw was 24, so if you put £1 on the draw for Newcastle to get 2 goals back, you would have won 24 quid. Now, that was the 43rd minute. The next one I took was half time. Got caps lock on there. I've typed that twice because caps lock's on with the shift key. Right. Oh, now I've got I'll learn how to use a computer one day. Right, half time. So half time was 2-0. This was £8.70. It had gone down a little bit. £1.50 cash out. And here 1.04. 160 for Newcastle to win. And 29 for the draw. So at the end of that half, obviously Stoke got 2 goals. Newcastle had a sending off, and then they had 2 yellow cards after that. It was between the sending off and half time. They'd added an additional 2 yellow cards. Wasn't going well for Newcastle. Luckily, it was only the under 23s. So moving on to the second half, in the 50th minute. It was still 2-0. I'm just taking these snapshots. I know the scores haven't changed, but I'm just like taking these down so I can see how the odds change. Stoke had moved to 1.03, which is probably neither. Oops. I keep forgetting the cash out because it's. Sorry, the screen I'm looking at, it's in the order. Obviously, I'm trying to type it. So the cash out had gone to 8.79, so we would have had 1.59 profit. I mean, that's 3/4 of the stake we've put in. We can only get a maximum of £2 out because that's all we laid, which is way over 3/4. So if you were trading, you would have been out by now, other than exiting post match. I mean, something like this game, you would probably say, well, is there any point exiting? I might as well leave it in until I get me £2 at the end of the game. You know, so that's what we need to look at. Yeah, Stoke were down to 1.03. Newcastle was still 160. On the draw was now 30. So the next time slot is 60 minutes. I was doing every 10 minutes if nothing significant had happened, which, you know, at this point it hadn't. 8.84. Oops, scores 2-0. Keep getting ahead of myself. 8.84 for the cash out. It would have been a profit of 164 at this point. You can see how it just creeps up. There's half an hour ago. Stoke are playing their favourites, odds-on favourites. Playing at home to the underdogs, who are down to 10 men, and you can still see the cash outs just creeping up slowly, even though Stoke are 1.02 for the win now, which is, you know, it's practically not worth putting money on them to win, because you get £1 and 2 pence back if you put £1 on. It's not even worth risking the £1. Well, little spoiler, probably was, but would you? Right, the draw was up to 36 there at that point. 65th minute, 2-0. Obviously, I was looking to see if a third goal had gone in, how that affected it, and how close the profit would have went to £2, but this is still 8.84 and it's still 164. So you can see there's 5 minutes gone there. Even since the 50th minute to the 60th minute, that's 10 minutes gone, and it's only gone from 1.59 profit to £1.64, an additional 5 pence. Stoke was still 1.02. Newcastle down to 100 for some reason. I don't know what happened for that to happen, but the draw was out to 46. So the draw got out to 46, but Newcastle had come down to 100 and Stoke hadn't moved. But I don't know if that meant there was a bit of money at Newcastle or something. I don't really understand that, but or maybe something was happening in the game for that to happen. But then something did happen in the game, but it was a few minutes after the 65th. It was the 69th. Somehow, Newcastle pulled the one back, down to 10 men. So Stoke sorry, that took the profit down. Took the cash out down to £8.06, which was only then a profit of 86. And I was saying at this point, oh no, but again, we're only in it for, this is a good thing about testing these strategies, is we're only in for a few quid. It's not like we've got £200 stake. We've just got a £2 stake. So our liability is only £7.20, not 7,200 or whatever it is. I mean, 20 quid stake would have been 20 quid stake, yeah, £20 stake would have been £72 liability. So sorry, not 7,200, what am I talking about? The £200 stake would have been £720 liability. So Stoke at this point went to 1.13, which isn't a great price based on they're only one goal ahead now. Newcastle had come down to 36, and the draw had come all the way down to 8.2, obviously, because if Newcastle got one more goal, that would be the draw. Still quite high, 8.2, but a lot lower than like what it had been at 46. And that was the 69th minute. Now I'll let you know now there was no more goals, so Stoke went on to win. That's another little spoiler. So it's just a case of, I mean, we didn't know that at the time. It was a case of, I didn't take a 70th minute one because the 69th minute I took those about the 70th, just after the goal. So I took a one at 80, which was, score was still 2-1 for the remainder of the game. So it was now just a case of seeing how much the odds changed. So we're at £8.18 here now, when the profit was rising, but it was only back up to 98p. So with 10 minutes to go, we still only would have, if we did cash out with 10 minutes to go, we still would have only got 50% of our stake. Whereas you can see up here, we could have got double, well, not double this, but we would have got 164 the highest here. So obviously we needed a cash out before the goal, but you can't predict when the goal is going to come. We just had to ride it and hope Newcastle, I shouldn't really be saying that, hope Newcastle didn't score an equaliser, being a Newcastle fan obviously. But the chances were still slim, obviously. They were down to 10 men, but at the end of the day they had got one back. And again, not following the game, you're kind of looking at all this blind, which doesn't help. They were back out to 150 at this point, possibly because there was only 10 minutes to go, even though it was only 10 minutes after. They'd gone from 36 up to 150. But again, it is supply and demand, so it'll be a lot of people jumping on Stoke still because they were ahead and things like that. And the draw was out at 9.8. And the next one I took was the 89th minute. I thought I'd take a one just before the 90th to see where we're at. And I did say there was no more goals, so it ended 2-1. And this has now gone up to £8.67. So again, still only 147 with a minute to go. It's because the last few minutes there's always a chance of a late goal. And so you still like only 3/4 of your 75% of your stake there. Whereas up here, if we'd cashed out earlier, we could have got 164. But again, all this is better than the 0 would have got under strategy 3. This is what I need to look at really, because this game suited strategy 2 better, where we get in before and we just wait until the end and see if there's a winner. But the only reason it suited strategy 2 is because it was not a draw. Stoke went down to 1.04 here. Newcastle are now at 500 because I think there was just a lack of liquidity and stuff. And the draw had gone up to 18 because there was so little time left. The only thing that isn't really favourable is looking at these three numbers here, the only thing that isn't favourable is the cash out amount. Should have been a lot closer to £2 in my opinion. So in the 90th minute, still 2-1. Still 8.67. I mean, this was only a minute later to be fair, but Stoke had come all the way back down to 104 again. Yeah, sorry. You look at these columns, don't they? The profit was obviously still 147 because it was the same as the minute before. Stoke was still at 104. And Newcastle had gone out at 5.30 and the draw had gone out at 21. And then 90 plus 2 is probably about where it ended. I think I might have I got one more or not? Yeah, I'll just check before I go through this one. So I'm just looking at the screens here to see if I've got one more on this one. No, I have. So it was suspended at 90 plus 4, so I'll do 90 plus 3. Actually, I'll do 90 plus 2 and then 90 plus 3. Is there any difference? No, not a lot. I'll do 90 plus 3. So 90 plus 3, there's no difference between the last two. Still 2-1. The cash out value is now £9.01, which meant you had a profit there of £1.81, so still £92, which, you know, it just jumps up to the stake, the £2 by the looks of it, at the end of the game, the last kick. You couldn't even get a price on Stoke at that point to win the game because they were that so much of a favourite. Obviously there wasn't going to be 2 goals to Newcastle for it to be fully turned around. Newcastle were 1,001. Sorry, odds of 1,000, 999 to 1 to win the game, and the draw was 100. So that would be like 100 for Newcastle. If you put £1 on, you would have got 100 back if Newcastle had scored a goal in the final seconds of the match. And then that was it basically. There was no more after that. 90 plus 4 the market got suspended, and then it ended, and then I got credited my £2 in Betfair Exchange, which was the stake we'd put on. Obviously you can only win your stake, so if you want to win, if you win you win your stake by winning the whole trade normally, but with Betfair Trading you're looking to get out. It's like, I'd be happy with say 10%. I think it's a good return based on being tax free. You're looking at I'd be looking at, if I was trading automated, which I will be looking at in the future. Obviously I'm just looking for strategies at the moment, but if I did have things automated, I would be looking at just a 10% return. So if I had a bankroll of £100, I mean 10% return every single day would be utopia. I don't even know if that's possible, but for me, like £100 bankroll, like the next day would be worth, you'd have 110 in there if you traded 10%, and then you'd have like 121, and then blah blah, and it would just escalate like that. Assuming you were staking your bankroll each day, which you wouldn't be doing, but if you had say £1,000 bankroll and you were doing £100 stakes every day and you were getting 10% every day, then your profit, it's like compounded interest really in that respect. If you could do 10% a day, obviously you're going to have peaks and troughs, you might do more one day and lower the next, but if it averages out at 10% a day, that would be ideal for me. Anyway, I'm just conscious of the time. It's 7:15 now. I'm going to wrap this one up because it's been going on about 40 minutes as well, which is far too long. I've been babbling on by the looks of it, but I just wanted to show you this. I'm going to save this game. I'm going to do the same kind of thing, because obviously strategy 3, it's a lot more screen time for the trader myself, basically, which isn't great, but it does feel more like you're trading than strategy 1 and 2, where it just felt like I was putting a bet on and waiting to see what happened at the end of the game. Even though I did it, this one here, I should have got out here at that red blob, but you can see there I would have made no profit. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this for individual games going forward, and I'm going to see, like, I'm going to compare the odds and the profit, and when the first goal goes in, if there isn't a goal, this kind of thing. I'm going to probably devise an exit strategy as well. If there is no goal, probably get out in about the 70th or 75th minute, so I haven't lost the whole liability, because I think that's an issue as well in the past, especially last week when we were leaving the games until the end, and we were ending up with a draw and we were losing the whole £7.20. I do need to have a look at some of these. Obviously this was like a textbook one where Stoke went ahead at the 30th minute, although if I cashed out there I would have got no profit, but so be it. I mean, that's what we might have to do. If they'd scored maybe in the 40th minute or the start of the second half, maybe he's got more profit, and that's what I want to compare these odds for. So if you like the video, sorry I've rambled on a bit, but it's the first time I've done this. I'll probably do every 15 minutes or so going forward, because obviously every 10 minutes and explaining stuff, yeah, it's taking a little bit longer, but I'll try and keep them a bit more brief in future. But I do want to go through some high profile games like Premiership games and see what happens. But this was textbook and not the home favourite went ahead. So click the subscribe and the like button if you want to follow along, and follow how hopefully I get to a strategy where we start making regular income on Betfair Trading. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye.